Hey everybody, today I want to talk about an article that was in the March 21st New York Times about Portland, Maine's plan to deal with homelessness. Not a very long article, goes into a quick little summation of what happened, which was they had a bad homeless problem, so they did it the way a lot of cities did it. They passed no panhandling laws and all this stuff, and there was a median in the middle of the street that they bulldozed over, and none of that worked. None of that worked. So now they're trying to hire the homeless, to give them jobs. And I'm just going to read the whole article and then we'll discuss this. In Maine, Portland tries a new tactic with panhandlers, hiring them. This was written by Matthew Haig. City officials respond in the same manner as their counterparts across the country, with force. Starting in 2013, they outlawed begging on the street median, saying it was a public safety issue. After a federal court struck down that law, Portland bulldozed a strip in the middle of the road that had proved popular with beggars. Despite the aggressive approach, panhandlers did not disappear. Because you're passing laws that are designed for people that have something to lose. You and I abide by the law because if you have a job and a house and a car and a thing, you don't want to lose that. You don't want to get thrown away. If you've got nothing, you have nothing, you don't give a shit about those laws. You can't apply the logic of like the middle and upper class to people that are really, really struggling. So starting this April, so next month, Portland plans to try a new tactic. The city will hire a few panhandlers a day, pay them $10.68 an hour, the city's minimum wage, and assign them to clean the parks and public spaces. I think this is fantastic. And I hope it works, because it would be great to show that, hey, treating people with dignity rather than treating them like they're second-class citizens or even less than human, that is probably a better tactic. Because I live in Los Angeles. There is a huge homeless population here. We just passed Measure H, which is going to put a quarter-cent tax, and it's going to raise hundreds of millions of dollars, if not more, to build shelters for the homeless and everything. And I've heard some people, oh, I'm sure that'll work. We got to do something, because, and as the economy, if we have another recession, it's only going to get worse. And much of the homeless population are people that have severe mental illness, schizophrenia, manic depression, bipolar depression, and they're not getting the proper treatment. And so what do? They self-medicate with street drugs. And it's this idea, as I've talked about on this show, 60% of the population couldn't handle a $500 emergency. Depending on how my gigs are a month, I'm one of those people. I just worked a little bit on the road, so I'm not right now, but I was last month, a couple weeks ago, I was that. And think about if that happened. Think about the times when you had like $10 and you had no money, and what if you would have gotten into an accident or had a health issue or car wreck, and then what do? And you didn't have the money, and you had to rack up debt, and then you couldn't pay your rent, and then you didn't have a family support system, and you imagine if all those things happened to you and you were suffering from mental illness and then couldn't get medication and the doctors weren't treating you correctly. I know I have friends that are suffering from mental illness, and they have an amazing support system. They have a family, and they have physicians and insurance, and it's still so difficult. The healthcare system is so difficult. Imagine if you didn't have that safety net, that very thin safety net. There's a good chance many of us could be homeless. So treating the homeless with dignity and giving them a job rather than outlawing them from trying to survive. Stop panhandling, trying to survive. Oh, some of them, they just buy alcohol and stuff. Yeah, a lot of them are addicts. Wouldn't it be great if we stopped treating addiction like a crime and treating it more like what it actually was, which is a health issue? We've been doing a war on drugs for almost 100 years, and it's not working. I mean, it's working for the private prison industry, but it's not really working. So I applaud Portland, Maine, and I hope this works. And if anybody lives in a city or town or whatever that has tried different tactics with the homeless, and tell me what has worked and what hasn't. I'd love to hear it. Thank you so much for watching. Like this, hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button if you're just watching this for the first time. And there's a Patreon, so you can help support this show, and you're supporting independent media. Because by supporting independent media, you're telling the giant corporations they don't get a say on the truth.